This is Ray Mooney's Wild World of Wet Shaving. Let's begin. Hey, this is Ray Mooney. Welcome back to the podcast. Today it's my pleasure to welcome Grant, aka Jeep Guy 13, to the podcast. Welcome aboard.
Hello, Ray Mooney. I've met you in person. It is good to see your face again.
Indeed, indeed.
I
The
am.
listeners cannot see our faces because it's an audio only thing, but
He's a very handsome bald man that looks like he's, clean shaven, as is, par for the course with this hobby.
right back at you. I can't, you're wearing your hoodie, but I believe you're a head shaver now.
Not,
Oh,
I need to. I've been slacking. I need to work on that.
all
I,
right.
I need to get my routine down and actually stick to it. I've like come up with like a good routine and then I never stick to it. So we're working on it. It's a work in progress.
Got it. If it's any consolation, I have no routine. Sometimes I'll do it once a week. Sometimes I wait a week and a half. Sometimes it's 2 weeks. I just don't like it to get too long because it is uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, totally.
So, so I have a bunch of questions for you, young man.
Okay.
And the first is, how did you get into wet shaving?
So back in, well, yeah, it's September of 2021 is when I got my first real job out of college. And I had to go into the office and I worked full time for the university I was at, but they basically just said, wear whatever you were going to wear. Like, just basically continue being a college kid, but you have full time employment here. So just do your job, show up for your classes. Like, we're not going to get on your ass about dress code. We're not going to I mean, we're not gonna expect you to really do much. Some of my friends were like, "Oh, you work full time. You should dress more professionally." But I always just rolled around campus in cargo shorts and a t-shirt, which is still the same thing I wear now. So I like being comfortable. I like when it's cooler, I like hoodies, and then summertime it's shorts and cargo shorts and a t-shirt, and that's the life. But anyway,
It's a great
so I
uniform.
was starting to go into the office. I actually did have to get they had a dress code at this job. I had to actually wear polo shirts. I had to go out and buy polo shirts for this job. I bought like slacks that didn't have cargo pockets on them. I'm really big into cargo stuff. Just
Sure, it's
yeah.
handy.
But anyway, so I had to buy like actual khaki pants, like polo, like get a nice belt. I bought like not dress shoes, but like nicer, clean, like office type shoes. And so I was like, I wanted to like try to look clean for this job. So one of those things is like I just decided that I was tired. I was using a Mach 3. I think I got for like my 18th birthday from Gillette.
Right.
It's like one of those things, they do like the marketing thing where they send you a free razor on your 18th birthday and they get you the handle, which is the cheap part, and they give you one cart. And then you're supposed to, continue buying carts, which are absolutely expensive, as we all know. Anyone who's listening to this is into the hobby, so you know why we're here
That's
to
it.
save
But
money. But we'll
but
get
in
into that
it's
later.
it's sort of an evil marketing plan because it sucks you right in, and then
Yeah,
the easier
exactly.
is
So I was using it for a while, and I don't really grow very good facial hair. If I did at some point during COVID, I grew my facial hair out for a month, and it just looked like peach fuzz. Like it was really sad. So I just decided I would rather be clean shaved than try to grow anything out. Because my dad has a beard, and he's had a pretty decent beard for as long as I've been around in his life. So as far as I can remember, but like I just can't grow facial hair very well. So I just would rather be clean shaven than have terrible scraggly pube face hair. So
makes sense.
that's where it started because I got this job and so I had more money and I was like I'm gonna look into this stuff. I had been following Wicked Edge on Reddit for I think I made my Reddit account in like 2016. I think Christmas
Okay.
of 2016. So I followed Wicked Edge for years. I'd seen the gear and stuff. Of course, I regret it now because those were the prime years of like the good stuff. I could have been hoarding APR and
Well,
Bison Base and all the good loot
you know that now.
during those days. But yeah, I know I didn't know back then. But anyway, so I'd been following for years and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I made a post on Wicked Edge hey, I've never, wet shaved. I want to get into it. Can someone recommend me a starter kit? And actually, it's really funny. Kind Simeon, who posts on Wicked Edge, he's the one that did the Battle of the Blades. I don't know if you ever read
Sure.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The Kind Simeon posted on my, or replied to my post and said, get a Henson razor, get a cheap Yaki synthetic brush from like AliExpress or whatever. Go to Sterling's website and buy sample pucks of soap and then their little dog bowl, like the lathering bowl they have
Yeah.
with the nubs in the bottom.
Yep. Got one.
Um, and he said, and that's like what you need to get started. You can get an aftershave if you want to. He said, like, go get something cheap at like a CVS or something like that. And that was how I started. So actually, I got my first scent I ever used was Deep Blue Sea by Sterling, which is a dupe of Blue de Chanel. Great
Yeah,
scent, by the way. I love Deep Blue Sea is like gonna always be in my den. That is a keeper for me always. If you get a chance to smell it at the meetup, if you're coming this year,
I unfortunately cannot make it this year.
oh, it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's,
Anyone
anyway,
who gets a chance to sample it, get a sample puck. This is my shout out for Rod Sterling, the man himself. He's running a
Nate,
good business. He can get 5 sample pucks for $15 plus shipping, but still, you can smell all the good smells. It's worth it. You get enough soap that you can try it for a while to know if you like it, but also not too much that you're stuck with it. It's great.
I agree.
Go Rod.
Good
But
shout out.
yeah, Deep Blue Sea. So that was how I started with a Henson mild, cheap Yaki synthetic brush, which I no longer have. I think I gave it away to another friend to enable them and start them. Don't have the Henson anymore. Don't have the brush anymore. Still have some of the soaps, but yeah, it just that was the start. And I opened that puck up, and the first time I like was like lathering it, like like running a brush across it, and actually got the soap wet, and like the smell just like hit me. That was kind of I call that like the hook. That was like I was just
You were
done.
hooked. That's it.
Boom. Yeah, it
That's a
just went from
proper
there.
start, though. I think that's
It
way
was
better than
awesome.
most people do not have the luxury of starting with Sterling soap, or the knowledge maybe of starting with Sterling
Yeah.
soap and a Henson
So that's
razor.
a huge shout out to Kind Simeon. If this episode ever, if I actually might just DM him, I'll shoot him a Reddit message and be like, hey, remember 4 years ago when you commented on my post? I'll send him the post and I'll send him this
Sure.
and we'll see what he says. I mean, he's such a nice guy. He really is. He's just all I've never obviously like spoken to him, but like on Reddit, he's all over the place, always, helping people out. He did the Battle of the Blades thing, which was super fun, like really well done.
Yep.
He's just a neat dude.
It's great.
There's tons like the community is like full of people
Full
like
of
him, which is
them, indeed.
amazing.
I agree. I agree. And of all of those neat people, you might be the person with the most thirst for this hobby, from my perspective, in any case. I don't know. I mean, I
Is
wasn't
that a compliment? Is that a
that's
good thing?
absolute. Well, in our sphere, it's a big compliment.
Yeah.
We're all. No one gets into it. No one again in our sphere seems to get into it to save money, right? Sure, there's Grui or whatever, GR.
At the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is good because the over time I'm saving money. I'm not buying cartridges. It's like it's like the whole buy it for life mentality. You buy one quality good once and you have it for a very long time, right? Like that to
Sure.
me, that's like a big resounding thing because my father grew up like poor. And so like he kind of, for me and my brother, like raised us to be like kind of smart about, just not smart maybe, but like conscious of like, don't buy a bunch of cheap things over and over again if
Sure.
it's not working. Maybe splurge the extra money to get something that's going to be there for a long time.
That's
So
it.
like that kind of mentality like led me kind of also into wet shaving over cartridges and stuff like that cuz yeah, so
Makes sense.
that's another way I got in.
Sure. I mean, that doesn't speak to how we're all sort of collectors as well, but
Mm. No,
yes,
the hoarding I've got going on is definitely not to that, but
we'll
I'm going
get
to
to
say
that.
that that's my childhood self having adult money and allowing myself to have things. That's
Sure,
my
that's fair.
excuse.
But I mean, clearly you're also very into it because, again, it's from my perspective in any case, maybe others will agree with me, but you kind of burst onto the scene, certainly in our wet shaving, and then were everywhere and knew everything almost instantaneously. Downloaded all the, universal common knowledge and specialized
Yeah.
knowledge about, this hobby of ours.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I just like talking to people. That's I think the one thing that so like I'm a for people's background, I'm a computer science major. I work in IT for a living. So a lot of techie people do not have people skills.
That's very
And it's
true.
like it's not a dig on anybody. But when I was in college, my main skill was that I was the networking guy. I could get two people that have never talked to each other to have a conversation to get along.
Okay.
So
That's a great point.
I I think I have really, and I'm like, I hate tooting my own horn. It makes me feel awful. But at the same time, like I
That's
think
what
I
this
have really good
podcast is
people
all about.
skills and I like talking to people. So being able, like getting into the scene and then like, I got involved with our wet shaving, which then got me into IRC. And then I just spent I would I would go to my job, and the first thing I would do is I'd open up my work laptop and I'd log into IRC in a browser, and I would leave it open so that I could get all the chat logs for the day. So even if I couldn't chat with the guys, I could see what was being said and everything, so that I could learn. And so I just absorbed years and years and years. Like IRC are like OGs, like they were around for the great Wicked Edge schism that led to our wet shavers, which then led to our wet shaving. Like they have been around for a lot of the Reddit drama and all this stuff. So like they knew when like Katie's Bubbles was first starting because he was posting on Badger and Blade and someone pissed him off because they said you can't make a good soap without tallow and he said, fuck you, I'm going to make a good
Watch
soap
me.
without
Yeah.
tallow. And now he's just a vegan king. Like the
Yep.
guy
Well, the
he could
luxury base
easily
is
make he
something
could
something to
easily
behold.
make a tallow soap if he wanted, but his whole brand was based on, basically fuck you, I can do this. And he just did it
Yep.
and he continues to improve, which is insane. If you look at like where he started to where he is now, the guy hasn't stopped innovating. You know what I mean? Like the premium base he came out with, what was that, 2 years ago? Crazy, crazy good stuff. Like he
Yep.
just,
I
it's
agree.
just fun. So like I've just absorbed all this knowledge. Like spending a ton of time in IRC was a big deal for me because those guys knew their stuff and then they were teaching me. I was, chatting in the main chat and then also having side conversations with people about niche things. So like Frankie and I would get into talking about European soaps because that guy will buy anything that looks interesting. Like he and I are on the Spanish Shavers Facebook group.
Okay.
Only because they do exclusive soaps once a year, so we always get a set of the exclusive soaps, and it's cheaper to ship a set, like two sets of it to the US than it is to just do it individually.
Sure.
So we get in on it to one, get the limited edition, and two, because we can save a couple bucks on shipping. And then we both can enjoy it and talk about it and like bounce ideas off each other. It's like we
That's
love doing
fantastic. Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Fantastic. But very, very deep, deep down that rabbit hole.
I
Do they?
know, I keep going, right?
Sure. Well, but that's it. That's kind of the beauty and the well, I don't know if
It's
it's
the
a
beast.
risk, but
I
it's
don't know. I just am super into the hobby. There's so many different facets, and you can make it as simple, like, I just want to make sure that I have good lather so that my shaves are nice and my skin is okay, to I want specific scents and I want
I want
X,
to be
Y,
a
and Z
collector and I
for all
want
these. Yeah, like
to
there's
try
like so
everything and
many.
know everything.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I've gotten into straights and that's a whole other
It's so fun,
it's
right?
so fun, especially honing your own. And once you understand how that works,
I
it's
need to get
so
there.
much fun. But
It's on my
it's
list. That's like the
endless.
next big step for me.
It's
Yeah.
endless. It's a money pit. It's fun. It's rewarding. It's dangerous, but like, holy shit, does it cost?
Right. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
so fun though. Like, taking a razor that's got like, a shit bevel and, like setting it yourself and running it on the stones and getting an edge that passes the hair hanging test. And then you shave with it
It's
and it's like
extremely
smooth, right? And
gratifying.
you get a
Yeah.
great shave and you're like, everything I did before this was worth it for this singular like 20 minutes of like bliss. You know what I mean?
I
Like, and
agree.
that's
I agree.
awesome.
But I said in my last episode, actually, I'm still refining my technique. Yes, I'm
Oh,
shaving almost
always. You always
exclusively
will
with
be.
straights, but well, you see some of these guys on YouTube and they make it look effortless. Obviously, they've been shaving for years, but
Yeah.
it's something to work up to or to aspire to.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'm into as deep in as I am, I still have so much that I still want to learn. I mean, there's still things that I'm sure that I could do differently that would be better, and there's different things that I want to get into still. Like, it's almost like limitless, like with how much stuff you can do. And I know it's like, at the end of the day, it's removing hair growth from your face or head, but
Well, but it's
like,
also the
it's
nuance of
not.
fragrance. It's a
Yeah.
community, certainly in our case.
Well,
It's all kinds of things. It's a
yeah, I definitely
collector.
like the people aspect a lot. That's a
That's
big
it.
thing for me.
Well, it's huge for me
Tons of
too.
like-minded individuals
I
that are
mean,
just all super fun to talk to.
and generally good people. So that it's
Yes.
wonderful. It's really wonderful. So, I mean, online, you're known as Jeep Guy 13. Do you drive a Jeep?
I have one. It's sitting
Oh,
out and I can
okay.
see it from my window, but it's sitting there rotting right now. It's a 1961 CJ5,
Oh, wow.
made by Willys. It's my project. Unfortunately, I need to get it into the house so I can start working on it. But I do want to start four wheeling again someday. My dad was
Nice.
really big into it when we were younger because for him it was a cheaper hobby because fuel was cheap and he knew people in the four wheeling world, so he could get parts and stuff like that at good prices. And so for a family outing, it was basically load the truck and trailer up with the Jeep and go and camp and four wheel for the weekend. And it was like cheap and it was good because we were out in the woods and doing stuff. And like that was like his good way of getting us to go travel places, see things, and like keep it on like a low dollar so that it was
Sure.
still affordable for the family.
That's
But
great.
yeah, so I have the Jeep. Like it's a project. I want to work on it. I've been. But anyway, so the screen name came from just growing up and doing Jeep stuff for most of my life. When we finally got access to the internet when I was in high school,
Hmm.
I made a Steam account
Yep.
and my username was Jeep Guy 13 and someone had Jeep with the E's, so I used threes.
Got
And
it.
here I am.
Yeah. And it's
It's kind of
stuck.
evolved over time, but yeah, that was
Well,
the
it's,
start.
again, in our circles, it's become somewhat infamous. So, that's great.
Yeah. Can't change it at this point. I gotta ride it out.
That's, Ray Mooney too is an alias to all my listeners.
Yeah.
Basically become my name. It also sounds like a very viable name. So there you go.
Yeah, I hear my screen name more than I hear my actual name in like
That's
my
it. Right?
regular life.
Hey
It's like,
Jeep.
yeah, it's
Hey
just how it
Jeep, what's
goes.
up, man?
No,
Yeah.
that's how it's been for a long time.
Right. So you show up on
Not
the
a bad thing,
scene.
it's just how it is.
Right.
Sorry, bud.
Absolutely. No, it's a good thing. You show up on the scene, you get involved in our wet shaving, and then shortly thereafter, you win the Lather Games. And for those who don't know, the Lather Games is a secret internet shaving game through the subreddit our wet shaving that happens every year. That is a blast. Talk
I
about
don't think I
how
won, did I?
did you not win?
No, I think I got four.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well,
I'm pretty sure I
in my
got
mind, you
fourth,
won.
but
But you
no,
did get
I
a
got
custom
fourth.
scent from House of Mammoth, did you not?
Yeah, so I was shooting for first and I didn't even get there. But the thing is, well, when I that year, what was it, 2022? The top prizes were a custom Wolfman,
Yeah.
full custom. So you could get a WR2, whatever gap, handle, all
Sure.
that, like a full custom.
Didn't
So
Jungilla
of course,
win that year?
yeah, full
Yeah.
Wolfman goes first because it's highest dollar value, but also like a full custom razor is fucking sick. And James is an awesome guy. I'd still chat with him regularly too.
Do you really? Wow.
And he's taught me a bunch of fun stuff. Like I know more about machining now than I did before,
That's
for sure.
fantastic.
But he's fun as fuck to talk to.
Shout out to
He's just a little
James,
old hermit up
fellow
in
Canadian.
Canada. Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, so it was custom Wolfman, and then there was the custom. I think it was the Declaration Grooming Surprise, which is it used to be a custom pour with whatever knot was recent. So like the biggest one I can think of is Cosmo Barber.
Yep.
He has, if you go back and look at his old posts, he has an absolutely stunning. It's a B9A knot, and the handle is fucking off the chain. Like Scott fucking killed it. It was amazing. But he won that as just a Lather Games prize. So that went second. I'm trying to remember what was third. But it was basically Wolfman Declaration Grooming and then another like high dollar thing. And then the Mammoth custom scent came to me. I was like not expected to get it, but I fucking won it. And I was so excited because
It's totally
I just
very
was. It
exciting.
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what remind me of the name and the
Misfit and the scent. I
nice.
told Ben I wanted something with oud and sandalwood.
Okay.
And then it evolved into this conglomeration of random shit, which is awesome. It's got one of the notes is actually goat, which is great because goat's like the greatest of all time. And
Of
I was,
course.
you know, calling myself that because I'm a young idiot. But anyway, so there's all kinds of notes. There's like suede. There's like it's a whole hodgepodge and like the whole because Ben kind of does like a story, so it's like supposed to be his interpretation of the person and all that stuff.
Right.
So it was talking about me being like a young adult, like finding myself and all this type of stuff. It was really cool. So I came up with the name Misfit just because I don't know. That's
It's a good
I'm just
name.
kind of a weird person. So yeah, it was just fun though. So it was a good it was a good experience working through it. I think we went through 3 or 4 iterations of the scent before I came to before we both agreed that the one was really good.
And how
And
would
yeah, it
that
was just
work?
awesome.
He would send you samples and you would
Yeah,
test it out.
he would work on something for a while. We would talk back and forth, and he would send me like a little little tester vial. So I
Sure.
would spray it a couple times and wear it and say, I like this, that, and the other thing, or maybe this note could be a little bit. And we just kind of went back and forth. And Ben's really good to work with. When it comes to perfuming,
Sure is. Yeah.
he's
Quite
great,
quite a
and
guy.
he's very knowledgeable and good about explaining stuff. Like if because I wasn't super into perfumes at that point, so he would talk about things and I wouldn't understand, but he would explain it to me. So
Yep,
very nice and appreciative of that.
for
Oh,
sure.
all right. Hold on.
It's quite a prize as well. That's
I have to preface this. I got the custom scent in 2022,
yes.
but in 2021, no, sorry,
I
I
want to say
started wet
20.
shaving in 21, which means I would have participated in 22. And oh, I won the raffle from 2021 Lather Games, which is when BVSA Pike won.
Okay.
And so that was the first year that Ben did a raffle and a custom scent. So he did a raffle for charity with a trifecta of the 2021 custom scent, which was Jarvis.
Right.
And I won that. I won that. And that's when I decided I was gonna fucking go hardcore in the lather games. And then I ended up getting the custom scent. And then, of course, to continue, I got Ostplug, which was Onion Miasma's custom scent. So as it
You have all
stands
the custom
currently, I
scents.
have I have every single House of Mammoth custom scent for lather games ever made. I have all of them.
Impressive. Impressive.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to maintain that, but it is like, I think I'm the only person in the world that has all three,
I think you
which
are.
is terrifying.
Well, terrifying, also remarkable, and
Super exciting. Yeah.
impressive to people like me who are into it and love House of Mammoth's product. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. And
Yeah.
I believe there's only 2 or 3 tubs of each in existence. Is that it?
Yeah. Jarvis, I mean, only Brian is the guy's name. Brian has a trifecta. I have a trifecta, and that's it. Those are the only two that exist.
Wow.
And then for
Okay.
Misfit, I have a trifecta, and then I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he won a trifecta, and that like those are the only two again. So Jarvis and Misfit, it's two of you have one of two,
And
and then
Ostplug
Ostplug
was a
was
short run, right? Or a small run.
yeah, very very limited run, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
That's impressive. Quite impressive. And we all know you're the collector, and maybe or maybe not, you bought a house to house all of your collectibles.
it's all in the basement. I got it all packed up nicely, organized by maker
For
in
real. Wow.
boxes. Oh yeah, it's bad.
So it's like the archive.
Yeah, it is the library, the
That's
library of
great.
soap.
I have way too much soap myself, but I
Yep, it
hope to
keeps
plow
coming
through
in.
it.
I don't know
Well,
how,
that's the
but it keeps
thing.
showing up.
That's the problem. But I mean, you're also involved in many exclusives, and that seems to be something that you're very good at doing. How many exclusives have you been a part of?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think. I'll just list them off the top of my head that I can remember. So
Sure.
obviously the biggest one was the Morbore sub brush, which was
Yeah.
the coolest fucking thing ever. That started. We'll do a little tiny lore behind that. When I first was coming around the subreddit, Maricus and I were looking at what the fuck is his name? He sells Zenith board brushes. I can't remember the name of his shop. The Gentle Shave, maybe. I gotta look it up.
Okay.
Mm. Yes, the Gentle Shave. And he was basically like the sole seller of Zenith board brushes in the United States. So he would get them from Zenith in Italy and then resold them. And he had this model, which is the big one, and it's a 31 millimeter bore knot. And it's the identical design of what the sub brush is, right?
Yep.
And Maricus and I were like, we had like a suicide pact, like if you buy one, I'll buy one. And so they sold out. So we waited and waited and waited. And eventually I was like, I've been super involved in everything. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. We're gonna make our own. Why should we pay this ridiculous price from this little shop because he's the only person that gets them from Zenith? Like, let's reach out to them directly and let's just get our own fucking brush. And let's get it for everybody because people will fucking buy because we done what was the board thing for austere August? It's
Raw
like the
Hagen.
yes, raw Hagen. So
Yeah,
like board hype was like huge at the time.
sure.
So
Absolutely.
we used Junjilla and leveraged his multilingual facilities. And
Yes.
he reached out to Zenith and got the ball rolling. And it like actually became a thing. We sold over 130 of those brushes,
It was a great
which is
success.
fucking insane.
Of course. I have
I
one,
never expected
and
that
I
I
love
would
it.
be running. Yeah. So like of course it was awesome. It was like, I made some mistakes during the process, on the back end stuff and we learned from that with the Mortine sub razor. I'm like
Yep.
kind of involved in that. Mostly it's Jungilla and GC Gallant running that, but I'm like kind of
Sure.
there just to like help a little bit from what I learned from my mistakes and everything.
Also on the back end,
So
as if you
it's
don't
running way
already know,
smoother. They're doing great.
they did great. I'm dying to get it already. I think that that's
I'm
going to
so
happen pretty
excited.
soon. But as you know, I guess I'm sure when you transfer money to them, it's in the PayPal account is in your name. So yes, you're still involved, whether you like it or not.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I set all that stuff up because it never
Right.
existed. I was like, why don't we have a general? That was another like I don't want to say I hate taking credit. It makes me I feel dirty saying this, but it was like my idea was like we should have a general slush fund. That way, if the sub wants to do something, we could have a place where everyone can pile their money so we can make payments for like a big invoice. And
Sure.
so that kind of spearheaded that. We have a Gmail account now. We have a PayPal account that's linked to that. Like we have facilities now that if we want to put money together, like with the Razor, we can collect the money, make a payment to the artisan. If we,
Sure.
there's a little bit of extra money sitting in there now from the flake payments. So
Yep.
like the next project, we have a little bit of funds to start it off. If we need to get a fragrance or materials, like we have facilities now where we can actually do this kind of stuff, and it's not like 100% from the ground up, which is amazing. I think that was my
Absolutely.
goal in the first place is to give the sub facilities to actually like get some of this stuff off the ground, and
Well,
it's
and I
it's
mean,
working.
you shouldn't feel dirty about that. That's a great contribution to, a thriving community. So it's quite the opposite, I would say. And I was actually
Yeah,
just
I don't know.
joking.
I don't like talking myself up.
Okay, but like it or not, you've become an integral part of this community. So I think that's great. And that gets you
Yeah,
places like on this podcast and stuff, right? So all access. I was
yeah,
just
something like
joking.
that. It's
I was just
the
joking.
shitfluencer.
There you go. I was just joking with GC Gallant on Reddit that the next group buy should be, well, it was someone else's suggestion, not mine, but first aid kits for all of the people that
For
are
the
going to slice
razors,
them up for
yeah.
with the razors.
Oh man, I still have a scar on my cheek from the first time I used a Feather SR.
You know
Not
what? I have
sorry.
the
The
exact same
first
thing.
time it was perfectly fine. The second time I absolutely gashed myself because I was confident. The first time I was super careful, everything was good. The second time I absolutely ruined myself.
First time I used
It's
that, I chopped myself in the face, so I also have
yeah,
a
I have a
scar.
scar on
Yeah,
my cheek here that I'll have probably for at least another 5, 10 years.
right.
I should
That's
have
what it
gotten
is.
stitches,
That's
but I
that's the
didn't. So
price
here
you
we are.
pay to be a shaving badass, you know?
But anyway, so I did the Mortbore I was involved with. Very slightly, I'm not going to take credit for it, but I'm slightly involved in the Mortine.
Yeah,
We're working on Irish Moose, which was supposed to be Irish Boss, whatever. Rod's making it happen. I'm really happy that it's happening. People are happy. They want it.
of
So
course.
we got the end goal. That's what I mean. You gotta.
Even people that did the perspective label that won't be used are happy
Yeah,
about it
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Believe
That
me.
aren't on this. That aren't in this room right now.
That's right. Correct.
No, it's not a bad thing. I mean, you know what I mean. Like my big goal is to make sure that people get stuff that they want. And I know that it's unfortunate that we had a label and everything like that, and it would have been great.
Not
But
unfortunate at
as long
all.
as the product gets made and into people's hands,
That's what
that's, I mean,
matters.
I have to compromise at some point. So I
Of
just want to
course.
make sure that people are getting their stuff.
100%. And
So I feel
especially if
bad, but at the same time,
you should never feel bad. That example actually was my attempt to contribute. Nothing
no,
more.
yeah, totally. And that's why I always come to you for this type of stuff because I know that you like being involved, and
I love
that's
being involved.
great.
Well, to the point that
Exactly.
I started a podcast to,
Yeah,
stay
exactly.
involved
Now
and
you're
talk to
the
all the
interviewer,
people.
which is fun.
It is fun. I'm having a great time in any
We
case.
also did a tiny little batch. I think it was like literally 15 or 16 soaps of But First Coffee, which you did
Oh.
do the label for that one.
I did. That
That
was,
was
I
a
think,
fun.
the
That was
first
just a
one.
little experiment, just a little taste. I haven't done anything else with Kyle since then because he's been super busy with just life stuff, and I have as well. But there, I think after talking with Pride 2, there we might have some stuff in the works with that. Another limited run SBS base with the scent that Pride 2 will be working on. I don't know. We'll see.
It's great.
This is my little teaser for potentially more things to come because I'm always working on something behind the scenes.
That's the point, and so therefore, I'm sure that more great things will come.
We're working
Because
on it
so far
always.
so
Even
good.
if it's even if it's not quickly, it's happening. There's
Well,
stuff
but that's
going
it. There's
on.
always something happening, and like we said earlier, you're everywhere, so you're always working backroom deals, and it's well appreciated by the community, I think. Uh,
Yeah, I think I'm just happy to make people happy. It makes me feel good that I can not like that I can share in the happy experience. Like getting those brushes, like when I got those boxes in hand and like held that brush in hand and saw the logo and everything, like that to me was like crazy because of all the work that went into it. Like
sure, it's a great
it
payoff.
was amazing. And I hope everyone else had like a similar experience where they got that in hand and they were like, wow, this is like something like tangible that's like cool. You know what I mean? Like to me, it was
Oh
like
yeah.
this is the culmination of my work over the past couple months, and people are gonna have this. There's 130 people out there that are enjoying this thing, and
And I
this is
think
cool.
everybody does. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I love that brush. It's a big one, but it's a great brush, and I'm glad that I have one. And the same
Yeah.
with the Mortine. I'm very much looking forward to the Mortine Razor, that is the straight. I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to getting that.
Well, I was talking with Pudding about this. If you have the Morbore brush and you have the Mortine razor and you buy iRich Moose, you'll have three products all with green packaging or labels or like green scales, green brush handle, green soap container.
Container, yeah.
All of them will have the wet shaving snoo on it. So you
It's a
could
good
do a
point.
full R wet shaving shave with products that we've released.
Right. And a color match shave of the day photo
Yeah,
too for people
exactly.
like
Like it's
me
gonna
who
be
yeah,
nuts. We'll have to organize a day that we can try to get as many people on that as we can.
that would be
Because
great.
that would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe even a weekly sidebar voting contest, the photo voting
Just
contest.
slam
If
it.
it's
Yeah.
just that, that would be fun too, maybe. So I mean, as a result, do you think that we're in a golden age of wet shaving right now? Not
No,
that
I think the
you've
golden age is long past, but
okay.
we're
I mean,
making the
there's so many
best of what we
products and
have.
such good quality stuff
That
now.
is the that is the other thing is like so like to me I feel like the I would call it like the quote unquote height of the wet shaving hobby. I mean right now the market I feel is oversaturated. There's a lot of excuse me burpee from dinner. Anyway, there's a lot of pop-up artisans. Like I just saw the razor company is carrying stuff from this guy called the Happy Chap who just
Okay,
started their wet shaving business. Like they're making soaps and stuff, and it's like 2025. The market's down. No one has money for hobby stuff. Like the economy's not great, or at least speaking as an American. But anyway, like I mean, like to me, like the market, and I've talked with Brad Maggard, and I don't know
yeah,
if I should say this, but like the hobby is obviously trending downward. If you look at what people are buying versus like basically pre-COVID. Pre-COVID would have been like the golden era for me where there was a lot of good product out there. People had money to spend on the product. So like a lot of stuff was moving around. The secondhand market was buzzing. Things were going crazy. Like to me, that was more, and of course I wasn't around. I started 2 years later. But of
sure.
course I like hear about this through other people's experiences. But I feel like that was probably more of a golden age. A lot of like the base war happened when all the soapers were fighting with each other to innovate better soap bases. There was like a big base war, like between Barrister and Mann, Ariana and Evans, Noble Otter even got involved, Katie's Bubble, like literally like a lot, like the big soapers that we know had a base war where they all started innovating. It's where like Excelsior came from,
Right.
Noble Otter's V2, Ariana and Evans K2 or Kaizen base, K2E base, like a lot of these things came from like a soap war basically where they started just competing with each other to make a better soap and that really led to even like it started off like in the right direction and then a lot of like current bases that are developed came on the aftermath of that, I think.
Sure.
So I would consider the golden age like 2016 to 2019 probably. Like basically
Okay.
up like 2016 to 2020, like the start of 2020. And
Yep.
then 2020 afterwards is still like the people that are here are diehards, I think is how I would put it. So like we have a lot of really good, really dedicated people. Speaking like about our wet shaving,
Sure.
really good, really dedicated people that love what they do and then hang out with each other and talk about it.
Yep.
So in terms of the people, it's a lot tighter knit of a group and a lot not as much. I feel like a lot of people puttered out after COVID or like maybe not COVID, but like the post COVID. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so when COVID happened, a lot of people got into it because they were stuck in their houses.
That's when I
And
got into
then
it.
once the COVID lift kind of got done, like 2023, 24, people started doing stuff, spending money on other things, going outside, doing trips, all that type of shit that they couldn't do for the past 3 years.
Right.
So I think that's where the decline really started. And it's not like it's a terrible big, like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. But like things are definitely slower. I see a lot less movement on the buy sell trade forums.
Interesting.
Less interesting things are moving. A lot of the old timers, like this is, of course, I took advantage of it, but a lot of the old timers that I knew that had really good dens with like some of the higher end like brushes that I've seen posted and like I wanted them for a long time. A lot of those guys started selling their gear off. And that to me signals that it's kind of like a dying thing or that it's a shift in the group, like the older group that was really into it. When you could buy a declaration grooming brush on drop and post it for $50 more on a form and sell it within an hour, like
Right.
those days were crazy. And like we're not at that point right now. Like everything's a lot slower, but it's also more thought out. There's a lot of product out there. You have to kind of be picky and like pick and choose what you want to have.
Yep.
And so that's where I feel like the knowledge of like people like me who got really into it and like read all the things and looked into the history, or like Pride 2 with his interview with Will, where he sat down and talked about all his old bases and all this stuff, like relating to Rome. Like, it's interesting to just sit down and look back and then also like help educate anyone that new that comes along. Like, there's so much more knowledge out there for them to just pick the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, not the right thing, but you know what I mean? Like,
Sure. Well, I
if
mean,
you have someone post in the daily questions thread and they're like, hey, what do I get to start? Like, people can easily say, here's an easy starter razor. Here's like a list of 10 soapers that are very good. Here's brushes that you can easily get that are cheap to start. Like, I
yep.
mean, there's like you said, there's a ton of product out there that's really good. So in terms of that, I would say we're definitely in a very good spot. Like we're very comfortable and very flush with good product.
Well, and the common knowledge seems to have increased too.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's the other
yes.
thing too. You can do a lot of research and get a lot of very solid answers.
Right.
And before you do anything. Like you could probably find pretty close to what you'll end up using for the rest of your life if you do like 3 hours of research on the subreddit. You know what I mean? Like
Sure. Well,
you
and if
could
you're
you
not a
could figure it
collector
out.
and want everything and,
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're just looking for gear to get and then kind of like, just like
stick with,
baseline shaving.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That
Well,
that's
on
that's
that
my
note,
rant.
let's talk about collecting because clearly, we're all collectors, but you seem to be above and beyond. Is it
Yeah, I have a
is
problem.
well, I mean, problem or not, we all share this common problem, but is there any ambition involved in terms of, having one of everything or something to that effect?
So my original plan was stuff is out there and I can get my hands on it, so I'm gonna get my hands on it. My current plan is to par down. So I've what's my number? I don't know how my spread.
We're
My
all
Google
dying to know.
spreadsheet. I don't have an accurate count. For everyone that's looking for an accurate count, you're gonna be disappointed. However, I will guesstimate. So I have, we'll say 40 declaration grooming brushes,
Wow.
and then another probably 25 to 30 Badger brushes of various artisans. Uh,
That's a
five
significant.
to seven boar brushes, a couple mixed knot brushes. Like I have this whole spreadsheet in my
Sure.
sold pile. My sold brushes is, and this is when I was still documenting it. Close to 100.
Wow. So
So
you
in
move
total, I've probably had close to 200 brushes
wow. Incredible.
in what is it, 4 years?
Right. Well, like I said
So,
earlier, the person who's the most into it that I have met. So here we go. Of all
yeah.
these brushes, though, tell me, do you have a favorite? Is there one batch of hair or an artisan that stands out above the rest?
Oh,
Or even just to you?
man,
I mean, everyone has their
here's the
personal
thing.
preference.
Here's the thing. The best brush I'm ever gonna have is yet to be made.
That's
And
a
it's
great
because I
answer.
know what's gonna go into it and the effort that's gonna go into it that I know it's gonna be the best.
Right.
And it's because I have mammoth tooth, like a fossilized mammoth tooth sitting in Milton from Milton Turn and Shave.
Yes.
He has a piece of mammoth tooth that we both went in on that he's gonna split in half and we're gonna make two brushes out of it. Or he's gonna make however many brushes he's gonna make, but the two of us are gonna make an identical set of brushes,
Yep.
and it's gonna be the tooth is gonna get dyed and sealed, and he's gonna put custom toppers on it in I think copper. We've been discussing it for months, but it's like the creme de la creme. Like this is like my like it's gonna be a brush that's gonna be made exactly how I want it to be made or how we want to make it like
Sure.
together.
It's the ultimate brush.
But there's already like hair set aside for it and like funds and like all this stuff. So we just have to like finalize the details and he needs to find the time to put it together. But like as far as like materials goes, like this is the one that I put like the most effort into like sourcing stuff. So it's
Okay.
just yeah, it's like a full custom type thing, and I'm really excited about it because he's Milton to me is like a very he's like similar to me where he's like super passionate about stuff. Maybe not to the scale that I am, but he also just like gets into it. Like if I find some new thing and I send it to him, he's like, "Wow, that's really cool. I never would have considered doing that. Maybe I could try X, Y, and Z, and I could make something similar." Like he's super into just like trying new shit and making new things, and like the most recent brush I got from him, I sent him a picture of a bird that had like really nice iridescent, like purple blue feathers.
Yep.
And he was like, I could make something like that. And I was like, please do.
That's
So he
amazing.
just made a handle based off a picture of a fucking bird I found on Reddit randomly like 5 years ago.
That's super neat. I love that.
It's just fun.
Yep.
So yeah, I think as far
That's
as like other brushes, if I could give like general recommendations for good stuff, as far as declaration goes, B2 is like the number one. Like universally, a lot of people love B2. It's a natural batch that doesn't have a lot of gel. It's very soft on the face. You still get good scrubbing. It like kind of does everything really nicely, but it's like leans on the softer side. It's just really good hair. Like B2 is just like one of those badger hair is has not been like that in a long time.
okay.
Um, and of course they're hard as fuck to find. So I'm recommending stuff you can't find. I feel like an asshole. Anyway,
Well,
B2, one
it's
of my favorite knots of all time. I have a couple of them. They're fucking fantastic. B5, there's two spectrums for B5. There's the super jelly end, which are not my favorite. There's also B5s I have that have zero gel, and they're one of my favorite batches, similar to B2 with a little bit more backbone. Just awesome. It's
that's
like I
interesting
have
to me
one that
though.
I will never sell.
Right. Interesting to me that the same batch or the same batch number in any case.
Yeah,
The same variant.
that's declaration for you. It's
Right.
not always well B5 specifically like ran the full gamut. I don't know if Scott treated stuff in-house or not, but like half of that batch is like snotty and the other half is like no gel at all. It's super
Interesting.
weird.
Okay. I
Um
have a few declaration knots, but not that low number, I
you
think.
have a B14 in that toothbrush, don't you?
I
B14
do.
is a fucking great batch.
It's a
That
great
is
batch.
good
It's a bit
shit.
jelly. I thought I
It's
was
a little
being
jelly, but it's not yeah.
no, it's perfect. I thought I was being crafty when I sent my baby teeth down to Stephen at Dogwoods.
It's still one of my favorite handles he's ever put together.
I think so too, but it's,
It's just
too
weird, but
weird
it's
for some
so
people.
good.
But I had to do it, and that's, it very much speaks to my personality. So I'm glad I have it. It's one of my, never sell brushes, of course. Not that anyone would want to buy a
Yeah.
brush with my teeth
So
in it.
my recommendations for deck B2, B5, B14, and B16. That's it.
Okay,
B16 similar to B2. It's the most similar batch to B2 he's had ever. So
got it.
that's why I recommend it highly. So and then as far as other stuff goes, holy shit. We could talk about this for hours.
It's endless. I
Uh,
mean, I was just looking to see if you had actually a favorite. Like this knot is
no, like a single specific favorite brush is so difficult because the thing is like I value them on different for different reasons.
right.
So like I have a Black Eagle brush that the handle is ebonite rod. It's black and red, but it has an engraving of a buffalo. So it's got a laser engraved buffalo, and then it's like a HT2 knot or something like that. And the knot's pretty good. Like it's not like it doesn't like it's solid, but it's not gonna like blow you out away. But the handle to me is like awesome because it's like
Sure.
the buffalo engraving's really pretty, the ebonite's really nice. Like that
Yeah.
to me is like, up there, but like the knot isn't like gonna blow people away.
So
Whereas like
there's
some of
multiple
the decoration
factors.
knots.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
always just the
exactly.
knot, it's the handle.
And there's always the chase too. The chase is part of the factor. Like how
Right.
how difficult it was to get. That's like which,
Well, especially with all of these sort of unicorn knots or brushes that are so elusive or so few of them exist or
yeah,
so few of
exactly.
them
Like
come up on the marketplace.
I saw Mozingo Brushworks when he was closing shop. He closed up and then he went on Facebook Marketplace and posted it was ZT2, which is I think pretty universally known as his best batch of hair. And it was a 30 millimeter knot, which he only tied 3 30 millimeter knots for that batch. And this handle has engravings. It has three different engravings on three of the sides, and the one side's blank. But they're different sample like engravings that he used for the name of the brand. So one of them
Okay.
just says Mozingo, one says Mozingo Brushworks, and one's like Mozingo Brushworks in a different font.
Yeah,
So it was like a tester handle
that's interesting and
that
unique.
yeah. So it's just like a random tester handle that he probably never intended on selling because it was for him. And he had a ZT2 knot in it that's 30 millimeters, which is one of three.
Yep.
One of one handle, one of three knot. And I ended up picking it up on Facebook Marketplace just because I was watching it regularly.
Of
So,
course
like,
you did.
that's just one of those things where it's like, it's like a tiny hobby and all that shit. But, like, to me, like, that's a piece of history. And, some people don't like Mozingo, other people swear by it, whatever. Like, whatever your opinion is, like, to me, it's still neat. Like, Brett did good work and I wanted to have one of his handles. And this to me is like the collector value handle, like
Sure.
the handle to have if you're gonna want you know what I mean? So I'm just happy I have it.
Yeah. And it's extremely
There's
rare.
just all kinds of shit like that. Like there's so much random shit that I have that like is just like a story behind how I got my hands on it. And that like is why I have so many.
Sure. And that makes sense. And if you know the stories behind all of them, that's even better. How about razors?
Yeah.
You have a favorite razor?
I was just talking with two people about this the other day. So like I started with the Henson, and the Henson obviously is weird geometry. I don't know if you've used a Henson or not.
I have, and I mean weird. I
So
would
like
I would call
compared
it
to like
unique.
normal, yeah.
Yeah,
Compared to like a normal like a 34C versus a Henson, it's like totally different. So
different thing.
like
Yeah.
at some point there was a guy that hung out in IRC, his name was Jay Galaxy, and he was a super cool dude and he had a ton of high-end gear. He was a great guy, like love chatting with him. He loaned me. He just let me borrow his Chiseled Face Legacy, which is serial number 5
Nice.
from the original run.
Yep.
So it had the full like metal box, like presentation case, all of this shit. So he sent me the full thing to give me the experience because I'd never tried like anything other than the Henson.
Okay.
So he sent me this whole freaking package razor, all of it. And I started using it and I just fell in love with it. So I was like talking with him. He's like, well, I don't really, I don't use it that much anymore. I don't really miss it now that it's gone. Like, if you want to buy it from me, I'll sell it to you for whatever I paid for it.
Yep.
So I ended up picking up this Chisel Face Legacy. It's still in my den. I don't plan like I was saying like it sits there and I don't use it for a while and I'm like, oh man, maybe I should sell this thing. And I pick it up and I use it and I'm like, no, I can't sell it. Like I just love the razor.
You know what? I feel the exact
So
same way. I
it's
have
got the nostalgia factor for me, and then it's also
yeah,
just like it just works. I don't know.
it's a
I
great
really like
razor.
the
It's a
thing.
great razor.
Yeah.
And it's unique in terms of its shave angle and such. I like the
Yeah, like it's super mild,
lightness.
but it's like it sounds super loud and that's ton of blade exposure. Like it's interesting.
It's very
To
interesting.
me, it's mild.
Yeah. Well, to me too, actually, and especially everything seems mild after shaving with a straight now for a while. Honestly, I
Mm-hmm.
have a
Mm-hmm.
WR2 1.25.
Yeah,
That's an aggressive gap and an aggressive, very smooth, excellent geometry, but an aggressive razor.
yeah,
But after a straight, it's child's play. It feels like it in any case.
yeah. I mean, shaving with an open blade like that is just it's a different game.
It sure is. It
Everything else
sure is.
seems so safe.
Right. Well, in retrospect, yes, you're right. But I do love the legacy. I have number 75, actually. So
Yeah, it's a fantastic razor.
I
I
agree.
have the pineapple handle and it's like the blue, like the
Of
colored
the
finish. Like it's just a
yeah,
pretty freaking razor.
yeah, absolutely.
So I can't
Agreed.
let it go.
Any funny stories for the listeners about buying and selling and trading and that whole marketplace?
Could probably sit here and talk for hours about. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my
Nothing
head. I
that
definitely
stands
have
out.
gotten into a bunch of arguments with people over stupid shit like pricing and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
got called out one time. I got called out one time. Some dude posted something. He posted like a charcoal goods razor for sale for like
Oh
$1,000.
God.
And I like laugh reacted it and made a comment like, "What are you planning on paying your mortgage with this?" Something stupid, right? I was being an
Sure.
asshole. But he he got so mad at me. He made a standalone post blasting me to the entire fucking Facebook BST group, which has a couple thousand people in it. Put a
Wow.
standalone post out there, blasted my ass, like fucking tagged me everything. The mods got involved. They took it down. They like came after me for being a shithead, came after him for being It was stupid. Stupid as fuck. And then I come to find out recently, I don't know if Yates Precision Manufacturing closed down and they had to make an announcement like whatever orders we had, like we couldn't finalize all of them and we're really sorry, so we're gonna have to refund some people. We tried to do as much as we could, like all this shit happened, right? And the same fucking jackass went on the Shave Dad Facebook group and fucking blasted Jake from Yates Precision and called him a fucking piece
Amazing.
of shit because it was crazy. Like the dude is a fucking notorious asshole on Facebook and people fucking still put up with him. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, one of the many characters in this
They're
hobby.
out there.
Oh, they're out
Yeah.
there, sure. Didn't Razor Emporium buy Yates Precision stuff?
Yes, he bought their machines and he said that he would try to continue filling orders.
Okay,
So it's not like a
see where it
guaranteed
goes.
thing though. So I think
No,
that's why Jake went the route of refunding some people.
fair
That's
enough.
a whole other piece of drama in itself.
I'm sure it is, which, we will get into maybe in a later episode, but not now.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a favorite scent, favorite soap? Is there one, of your collection and your basement full? Is there one that stands out?
I mean, obviously I have my own custom scent, which is fucking awesome.
That
That's like,
is for
gotta be
sure.
mentioned.
Yes.
However, if I were to pick a random soap out of all the soaps and say this is one I could probably use every day and not get tired of. The two that come to mind immediately are Fenchurch from Australian Private Reserve and then Cerberus from House of
Yes.
Mammoth, Declaration Grooming, and Noble Otter.
Right.
Because Cerberus has its reason, right? Cerberus has milk steak as a base, which is fucking great. Obviously, I prefer bison because it's a little firmer, but milk steak's really good.
Yep.
The scent on that is amazing. I'm a big sandalwood head. I love just how resiny and sandalwoody Cerberus is to me. And then Noble Otter's splash still remains the singular best splash I've ever used of like probably whatever the 20 plus artisan like post shave stuff I've used. His splash is my favorite. I will
Interesting.
stand by that until I find something better.
Right.
But his splash as just a single unit, like no balm or anything, is the best for my skin I've ever tried.
Okay.
So having Cerberus, which is like one of my favorite sandalwoody resiny scents, in that splash makes it like one of the singular best post shave items in my den.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's the best of three artisans, right? So you have the
Yeah,
milk base,
exactly.
milk
And that's
steak
just another
base. You
thing.
have
Yeah.
it's scented by Ben from House of Mammoth,
Yeah.
and the splash
Yeah.
is Noble
Cerberus
Otter.
is always, it's like one of those scents that oh, okay. Well, one more then. So Cerberus, just great. Fucking awesome. And then another one, which is like, to me, kind of a sleeper, is Sandalwood from Barrister and Man when he did the release in the Soft Hard series base.
Okay.
So he did it again recently in Omnibus. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe. He did a run of Sandalwood. And whatever is in Omnibus didn't the scent was different than it was when it was in the Soft Heart series base. So that is one thing I definitely do hoard. Anytime I see a tub of Soft Heart series sandalwood, I will buy it no matter what. I will buy whatever level. I don't care. I'll scoop it into a different tub.
Right.
I will buy it. It is my probably singular favorite sandalwood scent I've ever smelled.
How
I
many
hope
how many
Will
tubs of
can
it do you
find a
have?
way. At least six.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then it also Soft Heart series didn't have a splash. It did have a splash for some sense, but not sandalwood. But it
Right.
has like the little tubs of finger balm. I probably have seven finger balms of
Wow.
sandalwood. Yeah, I love that scent. Like I could just use that every day and never be upset.
Interesting. Good
It never
stockpile.
released as a fragrance though, and I don't know if it's just because it wouldn't be good as a fragrance. Because I mean, I'm sure I need to sit down with Will and talk with him about it. But like that scent to me is just special. I don't know, it just works. It's super
Sure.
creamy. It's pleasant. It's like a easy reach. Like like a barber shop's like I could just pick this up and use it because it's pleasant for any occasion, no
Yep.
matter what. Like
Yep.
that's how I feel about sandalwood. I could pick that up dead of winter, hottest day in the summer. It'll be good. Like
It's a
it
good
just works
anytime
always.
scent. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Interesting. I guess, a recurring question that I like to ask, but I think I know the answer because you've sort of touched on it anyway, is would you use another man's used soap?
I would say over half of my collection is actually used soap,
Okay.
which is
And
crazy, but I
it's
don't mind it.
soap.
I just,
It's soap.
yeah.
I, you know,
If it's used, if I'm that worried about it, I will like I usually rinse stuff off.
sure.
Like just get some warm water, rinse off the scuzz off the top. Like if a person doesn't clean it up before they send it to you,
Especially. Yeah, that's super
just run
gross,
hot
but
water out over it, pick out any hairs from their brushes or whatever. Like it's
yeah.
not gonna kill you. It's
Or even
soap.
just use a cheap, shitty brush that you don't normally
Yeah,
use on your
I
face
have a
to,
dedicated, you know how they have like was it the ice scraper you use for cakes and stuff like that? I
right.
have one dedicated in my medicine cabinet I use for soaps.
There you
So I'll
go.
use that to scoop smushes, clean up soaps.
Yep.
It's a great tool.
It's an important tool. Absolutely. Huh. So, you're in Pennsylvania, are you not? The great state of
Mhm.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Ever shave an Amish man?
Hell no.
They don't
Amish
shave, right?
people, they don't no. They don't shave, they smell bad. We're good. I'll pass.
Okay. Do you have a secret spot in Pennsylvania that all the listeners need to know about?
Ooh,
Big
that's a good
state.
question. Okay. So the only thing I could recommend is I graduated from Millersville University, and there is a place on Millersville's campus called the Sugar Bowl. And my dad, when he was in college, went to the Sugar Bowl because their cheesesteak stromboli is fucking awesome.
Okay.
And to this day, we were going there when I was in elementary school, as far back as I can remember when I was in elementary school, right? Like when I could eat solid foods and shit. We would go to this Sugar Bowl, like whatever, once every couple months or whatever to get cheesesteaks from Bolly's. And they have been the exact same fucking thing as long as I've basically been alive. So that place to me is like the secret like food place. And someone could probably come out of town and be like, "Oh, this is dog shit compared to whatever places I've been." But to me,
Not
it's a
necessarily
great
to
local
you.
spot. The same family has been running it for generations. The food hasn't really it's been the same. It's like it's a consistent thing. You know what I mean? Like it's been
That's it.
consistently the same product for like
Forever.
40 fucking years.
And
Yeah,
that's
like how
that's
do you
worth
do that? How do
something.
you maintain that?
Wow, with a
So
lot
I
of
really like the
hard
place.
work
If you're
and
in the area, give it a shot.
love it. That's a great answer. And you touched on, Millersville. So, what important lessons, as can be applied to wet shaving, did you learn as the treasurer of the computer science club there?
Oh man. That was a fucking joke. That things aren't always as they appear. That's the answer for
Okay,
that one. The
good
computer science
answer.
club was a fucking complete sham. The only reason it existed was because people wanted an excuse to hang out and have an assigned place to hang out. So they just
Right.
made a club for it. They got funding for it so they could go on trips, which is fucking crazy to me because it was just a bunch of fucking random nerds hanging out in a room. But yeah, it worked out. The university funded it, so hey, they won.
There you go. Sounds
You
good.
just gotta play the system. That's the lesson. Learn how to play the
Right.
system.
Right. That's good advice at any time. What's the worst part about being a network admin?
People.
But, clearly
That's the
you're a
number
people
one
person.
complaint. That's the number one complaint I have about life is people. People can make things so good or so bad.
Fair enough, but you seem very,
So a
very
lot of the
adept at,
problems
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the problems we deal with as network admins is
People.
people will blame us for everything, even though it's not us. We can prove to them that it's not us, but they'll still blame us. It's just one of those things. So you just gotta learn over time. You learn to just kind of take it like with a not a grain of salt, but you just kind of learn not to let it get to you. So you kind of get like thick skin kind of shit. So yeah, I just don't let it bother me anymore. I know that people don't know better, so I just can't hold them to any expectation.
Well,
So
and it seems like an unfortunate, part of the job that's always going to be a constant, especially, when you're
that's
dealing
the
with.
thing, yeah, because we serve like the thing about IT, and this is maybe this can be my one, not like wet shaving related thing, but like takeaway for anyone that's listening. So people that work in IT departments, we view everyone else at the company as our customer. So like even though we all work at the same company, we're in IT, we view like if I work with the front desk lady, she to me is a customer because I provide a service to her.
Sure.
So all of your IT people out there are really just trying to treat you like a customer, like we call we say end user, but like at the end of the day, if you can do your job better because of the things that we provide, we are happy. So next time your IT guy, you're pissed off at your IT guy because of X, Y, and Z, just think about the fact that he has an entire company worth of people expecting things from him and he wants to make it better for you. He wants obviously, assuming the person is good, right? But like we want to provide things for you. We want to make sure that the internet is fast. We want to make sure you have the programs you need to do your job. Like all that stuff. We want to do it as much as we can. Like because if you're allowed to work efficiently, then you don't come and bother us anymore. And then everyone's happy.
And
You
it
know what I
all,
mean? So like a lot of the
absolutely.
thing is like IT people that are within your company, we're literally there to provide a service and that's like what we do. So just I don't know, have patience.
Have patience and
That's my
have
big thing.
respect.
Have patience with IT people. Yeah, because
And be
like the
kind.
other thing too is it's a super thankless job.
Right.
You can have the network running 100% of the time for years and if something goes down, everyone jumps on your ass
Of course. It's like
and comes
nothing is
down on
ever
you and
right.
you fucked up and this, that, the other thing. But
Yep.
for 4 years, everyappreciated was perfect. But
Well, you
no
never
one
get a
ever
thank you
said thank
note.
you.
That's
It's
right.
expected.
Right.
Exactly. So it's just like it's a very underappreciated position, but also very necessary. So just be
Be kind.
patient with your IT guys, be
Patient and
kind.
kind to your
Yeah.
ID
We
guys.
need that. We need it.
Right. Fair enough. Uh, do you think you'd ever get even more involved in the shaving community? Well, I don't know how you can actually, quite frankly, but
Yeah, I don't
maybe
know.
even segue into the industry somehow.
I've kicked the idea around of potentially like one thing I'm really into is like the art aspect of shaving brushes. I don't know, like I could, yeah, the viewers can't see this as a podcast, but like if you looked at my shaving brush collection, I try to cover all the colors because all the different label arts out there, you need all the different colors. So I
Different
have
color,
the
sure.
whole rainbow spectrum of colors. I have different shades of different colors. I love purple, so I collect all kinds of purples. Like it is my favorite color. It's always been my favorite color. I have all kinds of purple handles. But like one thing I'm really into is like brush blanks. Like I follow a couple guys on Instagram that do just like resin blanks and stuff like that with colors and shit. So that's one thing I'm always like Milton and I are sending that stuff back and forth to each other all the time, and we just like love talking about it and like trying to come up with how they made stuff like that. It's super interesting. So I have thought about potentially like doing a thing where I like get into like doing resin stuff, like just either putting blanks together for people to get brushes, but I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not ambitious, but like it's like when
Not
I have all these
ambitious.
grandiose ideas and then actually getting it off the ground is another
Sure.
story.
Well, I mean, your track record so far has proven otherwise, just in terms of all the sub exclusives and all the behind the scenes stuff that you do that I think is well appreciated by the whole community.
Yeah, I like to make sure that the people, like I say the people, but like the shavers at large are getting their shit. My thing, it's the one thing my dad always told me is what was I gonna say? Oh, that his like methodology through life is as long as everyone gets a piece of the pie, it's a good thing. So like maybe you don't always win, like maybe you don't always get as much as you could out of something, but as long as everyone else in the room is happy, that's a good thing. So for me, when I'm doing these exclusives and shit like that, It's not just about, serving my purpose. I want this board brush. I want it to be X, Y, and Z. It's about making sure that everyone else is happy. So that Zenith is happy because they get more exposure because they got a product out there and a ton of people are using it and they did a great job. Like that's good for Zenith. It's good for us because we wanted branded stuff. We wanted a board brush, all this shit. Like it's personally good for me because that's what I wanted. And then people at large also got exposed to it and bought it, and they're happy with it. You know what I mean? Like everyone just kind of gets their piece, and
Yep.
that to me is like the ultimate win is everyone's happy walking away.
That's a great philosophy and words to live by, especially in the shaving hobby of ours. Last question for
Yeah,
you. Is there any future dream project? Shaving related, of course, but
I just want to
anything?
keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, please
I think
do,
I think that's
because
a.
again, it's
I mean,
greatly
dream
appreciated.
project. I would like to get. This is like a personal goal for myself, maybe, but like back in the, I'll call it my personal golden age of the subreddit when they did what is it, Valley of Ashes. Oh, what the fuck are the three? Oh, this is gonna
There
kill
was
me that I
Valley of
can't remember
Ashes,
these
there
right
was
now.
East Egg.
Yes, East Egg and West Egg.
Yeah.
So, Reguy underscore not, with nothing to lose
Yeah.
was the original like brainchild behind. Let's get three different artisans. Let's get three different scents. All of it will be based on the Gatsby book
Yeah.
for all these different. Like he like kind of orchestrated all of that going together, and then so like obviously it was natural for um like Southern Witchcrafts to do Valley of Ashes because they
Fits
kind of do
fits
those
with
deeper,
their,
darker
yeah,
scent. Yeah, like it
sure.
fits the bill, right? And then Sean Mayer to do
West Egg. Yeah,
West Egg with the champagne scent. Like he's a perfumer. He's gonna be able to pull that off.
sure.
And then Will from Barrister Man doing East Egg, which to me is like kind of similar to Maryland. If you smelled, I don't know if you've had East Egg or Maryland,
I've
but
had East Egg. I actually got rid of it because it
it's like a really
caused me
heavy
some
scent. Like it smells like you walk into,
nutmeg.
to me, I perfectly imagine like the 1920s. You roll into like a luxury like bar,
Hmm.
cigar bar, and the whole place smells of heavy perfumes,
Sure.
like cigarette, like tobacco smells, like super heavy. Like the air is going to be thick, like all this stuff. Like
Yep.
to me, like after all like for us in the States, like we have to read the Great Gatsby for like our English class in
Oh, we do
10th
we
grade
do
in
in
high
Canada
school.
too.
Yeah,
I
so
did
like
in high school.
literally everyone, like almost everyone has read this fucking book, even if
Sure.
you like, chose not to read it and cheated on the test and all that shit, whatever. But like
Still got a
to
bit
some
of
degree, people
sense. Yeah.
know about Gatsby. And so being able to sit down, close my eyes, think about the stuff from the book, and then smell that, like it fucking works so well.
Sure.
So like that to me is like up there as far as it comes to like exclusives, collabs, all that shit. Like that trio of scents and all the work behind the scenes to put that all together and make like the narrative and everything. That to me is like probably one of the best things to ever come.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah, I
super interesting.
unfortunately got rid of my East Egg because it irritated my skin a little bit, and that's
Yeah,
very
that's the
rare.
other problem. Is like
Fragrance.
shit like that happens and it
Yeah.
sucks. But
But I do love Valley of Ashes. West Egg,
yeah,
I
like
never
it's
had the
just
chance to try.
yeah, that's the thing is like I'm sad that Sean got out of the scene because his post shave stuff was fucking awesome and his
Sure.
scents were awesome.
Yep. Absolutely.
Sean's just a fucking legend.
Well, you
I
can still
love
buy
like
his
him,
perfumes.
his
Uh,
work. He did leather for us. Like
sure. For
his work on
Spearhead. Yeah,
Spearhead stuff is fucking amazing.
it
The
sure
guy's a
is.
legend.
Sure is. And that
There's a
perfectly
ton of
plays to
really
the
good
previous
people.
episode where I talked to Dennis from Spearhead. So if you haven't
Yeah,
already, check it out.
guilty of not reading it or watching, listening.
There's
I'm
lots of
figuring it out.
content for you to listen to when you have the
Guilty
time.
of not listening. But like Dennis is a fucking great guy. When he
Sure
that
is.
was mentioned during Lather Games as like a one-off thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, what about like a leather scent?" Or like he said something because it was like day 22. It was recommend like an exclusive scent or something like that day for Lather Games. And then Dennis was like in the comments and people were like, "You have to go talk to him. You have to go talk to him." I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like I wasn't even really paying attention that day. And like I like messaged Dennis. I was like, "So we making this happen?" He's like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's go." And it just started from there.
Yeah,
And it happened. It was great. The scent's fucking awesome. Sean absolutely popped off and made that an awesome scent.
that's
Like,
it. And this is the
can't
magic of our
complain.
community. So Listen,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time today and for all your knowledge and, coming on and talking with me, of course.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Hey,
Just
it's a pleasure.
inflating my ego massively by
You
inviting me
know,
to your podcast.
this podcast is for my pleasure, but also for all the listeners' pleasure. And I think that this will be a very enjoyable episode. So I want
Yeah, if anyone out there has any questions or anything, don't be afraid to reach out to me.
That's
I
right.
will answer them as to the best of my knowledge.
Or me. And actually, the comments are left open on these podcasts, so listeners can
Oh,
comment,
awesome.
although no one has. So maybe one
Be
day,
the first. I
be the
challenge
first.
you, listeners, be the first. Put something out there.
You heard it here, people.
You got to start somewhere, right? We got to start, if nothing's out, nothing exists like it before, you got to be the first. Someone's got
Yep,
to do it.
that's it. There's definitely been other shaving podcasts, but I hope mine is, at least original or interesting in
You're
some way.
interviewing the right people.
I think so, you included.
Yeah.
So, with that, I will say thank you so much for your time and your personality and presence on this podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciated the invite very much. I know we talked about this a very long time ago, and I'm very glad that it came to fruition for you. And
So
yeah,
am I.
I'm
So am
I
I.
appreciate being able to get my voice out there for people to hear other than my, trolley shit posting comments in Discord and Reddit. So
You are the banana influencer after
that's
all.
right.
And I think that
I'm
people
just here to.
appreciate it and appreciate you.
Oh man, we didn't get to talk about that. It's okay.
Next
Save it for another
episode.
episode. That's
Next
right.
time. Listeners, we'll see you
Anyway.
next time. And thanks, as always, for listening.